is Kumomara, and I am unapologetically me. And I hope that as you join me on this journey, you too will learn how to be unapologetically you. Now, I'm sure as you can see today, we have another guest.
Hi, my name is Wikamelo Morake, aka Kemi, and this one's best. This is like a very, very young age. But yeah, you know, it's not about us now. Let's carry on.
Yes, so she is a very close friend of mine, a bestie indeed. For all of you out there who also think that you're my besties too, okay? We're doing this bestie thing together.
This one comes first.
Oh wow. Okay, so firstly I just wanted to say thank you, Gemi, for coming on this platform. I've asked some of my friends before, like, can you guys come and like let's shoot a YouTube video together? And I always want my friends to be like, yeah, sure, like let's do this. And then some of them are like, no. And then I'm like,
it's like not everybody is that crazy to put themselves on a public platform, you see, so.
But I mean, this
because she likes things. So like me, I'm here with you, you know, so.
But my channel only has like, doesn't even have 100 subbies yet. But you know,
no man,
by the time you guys are watching this,
we see the vision and they will make it there. Like, we're counting on them followers, them subscribers, so yeah.
Yes, guys, you heard it. She said it herself. She said subscribe. She said like the video, okay, and definitely share it. So we're gonna go straight into the video. So I'm sure you're wondering, what is today's video about? How come we've brought these two lovely ladies into one room? And I think it's a video that's actually very special to us and to our friendship, but also something that we can share with all of you guys for people that are interested. I did say I was going to talk about travel. I did say that I was going to talk about my exchange experience. And I don't want to do it alone because I think it's so much more fun.
It's much better when you talk
to someone. When you have somebody that you're talking to. And so basically, we're just going to kind of go straight into it. But my first question to you would be, what is exchange? Like, for somebody who doesn't know, what is exchange?
Okay, exchange to me, it's just for me, it was just going out there and exploring the world, pretty much. That's what exchange is. Exchange is just about getting out your comfort zone, going to experience new cultures and get that feeling of cultural exchange, you sharing your culture with other people and them too sharing their experiences, their cultures with you, pretty much.
Nice.
Cultural exchange in a sense.
Yeah. So we went on like a cultural exchange program. What year did we go?
2017 to 2018. She never remembers. But anyway.
I do remember. I just wanted to test if she remembers. But yeah, so we went 2017, 2018. And I think exchange for me is... I remember reading this one quote where it was like, exchange is a lifetime in 10 months or something like that.
Oh,
yeah. And
exchange is a lifetime in 10 months.
Yeah, it's like a lifetime in 10 months. So usually exchange lasts for up to 10 months. You can get different ones, but ours was 10 months long. And essentially, we basically went overseas. We're in the US, so the United States of America. And she, let me tell you where I was first, so that she doesn't make me look bad, because I know that you guys are going to be more interested in where she was versus where I was.
It ain't that bad,
so it's fine.
Like, every place is beautiful, guys.
Yes, every place is beautiful. But like I keep saying, so I was hosted in Utah. For all of you guys who don't know where Utah is, okay? Utah is in the, not the elephants, but east. Is it in the east or the west of the United States? Yes, it's in the west. Because yours is also in the west, right? Were you guys in the west?
Yeah, I think so.
So if we're looking at a map, north, east, south, west.
Oh yeah, okay. Yes.
It goes this way, man.
Yes.
North, east, south, west. Yeah. So sorry, hey guys, geography. So it's in the west. So basically, it's in the west, western side. Hers also in the western side, and it's next to Colorado, essentially. So that's where I was hosted. Now,
why don't you cite the place Utah, the basketball capital, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about all of those things. We'll talk about those things. We'll get there. Don't worry, we'll get there. Yes. So I was hosted in Utah. Kemi, where were you hosted?
I mean, it's just like a smaller kind of place. But anyways, I was hosted in Redding, California. So
California.
Yes. So it's about 2 hours away from San Francisco. So that's where I was.
Yeah, you see, so she already has all the exciting places. was here. I was there from San Francisco. I was hosted in California.
Wow.
I was on like the beach. I was not from Los Angeles, but no, she's like probably already in that. Everybody's already like, California? Really? Oh my gosh, how was it? I can already see. I can already see all of that is coming. So I'm here too, guys. Don't forget me. So yeah. So basically, she was hosted in California, as you said. I was hosted in Utah. And before we even get into it, okay? Before we even get into it, how old were you when you went on exchange?
16.
Wow.
I had just turned 16. Month later, I left home, went there. Ndiza, went to California. Yes.
What's Ndiza for those who don't know?
Oh, sorry, I flew. It was actually our first flight ever.
Yes.
First flight ever. We, as besties, yes. We took our first flights to Washington. Yes, that was our first flight.
That was our first flight as besties. But now I just want to backtrack a little bit. So we were in the same high school, and when we got this opportunity, we both applied for it. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what was that experience like when we were still in the waiting season of finding out if because we went through several phases. Like there's quite a few phases that you can go through. I'll probably make a more informed video kind of breaking down how you can apply later on. But you go through several phases, and when we were waiting for that last, that final. So after we had done the interviews and everything, and we were waiting for them to tell us if we're going on exchange or not, if we've been accepted into the program or not. We were friends. We were at the same high school.
We were best friends.
We were besties. Like
we've been best friends since kindergarten for the ones in the States, since creche.
Yes,
pretty much. So we had been together, never been separated in a sense.
Yeah.
So that experience, it was nerve-wracking because I wanted to go on exchange, and then at the same time I want my bestie to go on exchange with me.
Yeah.
And then at the same time it's scary because I'm like, oh shoot, what if she goes, I don't go? But I'll still be happy for her. But then there's that thing, man. Just like, it hurts here, but it's okay. But then, being the type of person that I am, I would have been very happy if you went, and then you would have still been able to tell me what was going on at that sense. So I didn't really care whether she left or I did, as long as that we have that type of relationship that will stay together through thick or thin. So, but other than that, it was nerve-wracking. I won't lie. Nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Just to know that I might be separated from my bestie, guys. Like, imagine.
Yeah.
So.
And it's also like it's a very pivotal and life-changing experience. So I think you're aware of that. And I think there was also pressure, not really, but there was a pressure, like a social pressure of like, what if the one, because everybody knew that we were close. We were like very academic students in high school. So like, we were like killing top 10 together. We were, like we were killing them all together.
Everything.
Like we were, when they say ride or die, like it was us. Like we were dating, but in friendship sense, So it was that, and I was also like, I was like, what if she makes it and I don't make it? How will I take that? Like, will I be okay with that? Or
and
the other way
I
around.
guess that we're also mature in that sense that we actually admit that, hey, I was kind of thinking of that, but showing that the love that we have for each other, whether the other one left or not, we would have been happy anyways, despite that. So
But we don't have to worry about that because God blessed us both.
And we both went.
Yes, definitely both went. And it was so exciting. We were in grade 10. I was 15 when I left. She was 6. I turned 16 when I was that side. I think it was a really great experience. Now let's talk about the journey there, right? Or actually, before I even get there, how did your parents feel about you applying? Like that application process?
Well, on the first day when I got that application letter, my dad didn't want me to go. Well, actually, he wanted me to discuss it first with my mom and just see like, okay, should we let the child go or not? My mom was happy. She wants me to, like, she's outgoing and all that. They're both outgoing. But then I guess the one problem, the issue that they had is that it's during school.
Ooh,
it's during school because we had to travel and like stop high school, in a sense, kind of stop our high schooling in South Africa just to go and spend our exchange and all of that. in the States for pretty much 1 year, and when you come back, you'd have to come and not necessarily start over, but finish off your grade.
High school, yeah.
Finish off your grade from where you left off. So it was that type of thing where my peers would be in the next grade, and I'd be left behind. So it was that type of thing where I wouldn't be with my peers. For me, I really didn't care, because are my peers going to get me to where I want to be in life? No. So I wanted this opportunity for myself. So that's the type of thing, that's how I convinced them for me to go on exchange. So it was kind of tricky at first, but they were just like, what the hell, like, what does she have to lose? She's still young, so if she gets it, she gets it. If she doesn't, we move with the punches, pretty much.
Yeah. And I think also that reality of like coming back to South Africa and having, so for example, we were in grade 10, they told us that, so we were told by the exchange, like coordinators, by the organization, AFS, that we could ask our school if they would let us continue with our peers. So by the time we came back, obviously our peers would be in the next grade, or if they wanted us to kind of finish off from where we left off, because we're not just going there to like chill in mountains and hang on trees, like we're going to school, you know. So, but they told us that no, if you're coming back to this school, our high school, I'm joking, but if you're coming back to this school, you're going to have to pick up from where you left off, which means that you're going to have to be in a year below what your peers were.
So pretty much, if we're in grade 10, we just needed to finish off grade 10 over 2 years, which may sound like you're failing or repeating, but it's just necessarily just finishing off from where you left off. So that's the one thing that gets to people, is that your peers will be in the next grade, but it depends on your school, pretty much. But our school, your peers would definitely be in the next grade, and you'd be coming back to finish off, because we leave in August, so that's the third term. Then you'd come back in June the next year, and then you would finish off term 3 and 4 from whichever grade you had left off at. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, we were kind of given that scare, that reality, but I think we were so much more excited about going on exchange than we cared about repeating
all expenses paid to go to America.
Exactly.
You're getting a stipend. You can live with Americans, guys. Like, wow, I wanted to go.
Yeah,
didn't care at this point. Plus, it was an amazing opportunity.
Yeah,
that I won't lie. A lifetime in a whole year.
Yeah,
can never be taken away from me at this point.
Yeah. So anyway, before we get there, let's take it back a little bit, okay? So now, how was the experience of the journey there, okay? So I want to know, how was it saying goodbye to your family and to your friends when the reality, firstly, when did the reality hit you, okay? That you're not going to be home for 10 months and there was no option. And guys, we were 15 and 16, so this is like what was your thought process? What were you thinking? What were you feeling? And then, what was the journey like? What were your thoughts on the plane? What was your thoughts as you said goodbye at the airport? Like, what was that experience like?
So for me, it hit me. I think we were together that day. We were at one of our pre-departure orientations. It hit me when, we were together on that day. We were on an orientation. And we just realized that, hey, we made it.
Yeah.
We're going. So we were both emotional. We were crying. Do you remember that day?
Yeah. We cried and we prayed a lot. It was a prayer meeting.
It hit me on that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just realized, okay, shoot. I'm going with my bestie to the States, guys. Like, woo. But then at the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm leaving my sister. My sister and I were really close. Sure. I'm leaving my sister. I'm leaving my mom. Like, my mom's my bestie. I'm leaving everything that I know, but the excitement took over everything, because I knew that God has a plan for me, and wherever this opportunity is going to take me, there's a lot that's going to happen, and I've been wanting something like this. So yeah, I was excited. Most of all, I was excited more than scared.
Yeah.
I feel like I only got like scared maybe during homesickness when I was in the States, but other than that, I was happy.
Yeah,
I was happy, like, beyond.
Definitely.
I don't even know how to explain it, but I was happy, like ecstatic.
And I can tell because I think with me, I knew that I was excited because in a 19.5 hour flight, or I even remember 19 hours and 23 minutes flight, I did not close my eyes once.
You lie.
I swear.
So you're telling me I slept on you and woke up and slept on you again in the
Yes.
plane? And then
Yes. I came, guys.
What?
I did not sleep. And also, I was so blessed. I wanted a window seat so bad because that was the first time we went on a plane.
Yeah.
I was so blessed to get to be able to sit by the window. I don't know if that was actually my seat or if I begged somebody to sit in their seat. I don't remember. But bottom line is, somehow maybe I think maybe somebody let me sit in their seat, but I sat in the window seat. And all I did was look outside the window the entire time. I watched the sunrise. I watched it set. Like, it was just that experience. Like, I was like, I felt like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And I think what was so powerful about that experience was also because, for me, it was like a metaphor. It was a metaphor of, you know, bringing yourself higher into places that you never thought you'd ever reach. And it was, the reason why I say it's a metaphor is because we come from backgrounds where our families are not like, listen, we are blessed. We're definitely blessed to, you know, not be struggling as bad, but we know we can see our parents' struggles. And it was just such a blessing being in that place because it was like, we worked hard in school because we were like, we wanna do well for ourselves. Like we want to be somebody. We want to be someone one day.
And our thing is that we weren't even sure how we're going to get to tertiary university and all of that. So we worked really hard to at least get opportunities for ourselves. Yeah. So it was that affirmation that hey, hard work pays.
Yeah.
And look where we went.
Yeah. So that was big. Yeah. So now my question. The plane lands in Atlanta because we went from Oratambo, we went to Atlanta. Yeah. The plane lands in Atlanta. You're getting off the plane. The air is different. The people, they're people, but there's something different.
They don't speak the same, but okay.
They don't sound the same, you know. I mean, I think by this time we had only had 1 or 2 Americans ever speak to us at a camp. So we had heard the accent and accent.
You're forgetting one thing.
Yeah.
When we were on our flights, actually, that's the one thing that made it special. Remember the air hostess who had seen? So our whole group were all wearing the same color outfits, so wearing the same hoodies. And she had seen us and asked us what was going on. We told her that we are all exchange students and we're on our way to the US to begin our new life with new families. And she as well was an exchange student.
Yes.
So we're flying with Delta Airlines.
Yes.
So she was a Delta Airline hostess. And she made our flight so special. She told the pilots that we have special guests. So here we are sitting in a plane, our first time in a plane. And then we hear the words from the pilots. The pilot is speaking. And he's like, and then the pilot spoke on the intercom, and then he's like, "Good evening, good evening or good day, everyone. We have very important guests on this plane. We have South African and Mozambican exchange students flying with us all the way to the States. Good luck and enjoy your flights." It was amazing. Imagine
the fact that she remembers that.
But like it was the fact that the pilots of the plane introduced us as the special guests. We were sitting VIP. We even got like badges and stuff. I don't know if you still have yours. I still have mine.
From the airline.
Yeah. No, like that was amazing. That's one thing that I'll never forget. I felt like VIP.
Yeah.
From there.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like a wonderful experience, I definitely think. So now tell us, how was it when you got off the flight?
Well,
or let me ask it this way, what was your first culture shock?
Oh, I mean, this may sound awkward, but anyways, to me, I had never seen such in my life. Guys, I'm just a child from South Africa. I had never seen such.
So I'm laughing because we had this moment together and we came out of the bathroom with the same expression. But continue.
So I think we're at the Hilton Hotel. So went to the bathroom, you know.
I just was at the airport.
You lie.
I swear to God, it was at the airport.
Oh, okay. The airport. Then, just went to the bathroom, you know, just to relieve yourself. As I get off the seat, this thing flushes itself. What? I was so shocked. Okay, so I contained my, my shookedness within. Get out. I see Kuma's the peculiar look on her face. I'm like, hey Joe, did you tell it also flash? Did you not burst out laughing? I mean, I had never seen a flushing toilet, guys. So it was, I know it's kind of dumb and weird, but it was just a culture shock to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so when we experienced that, it was funny. So that was the first one. And then other culture shocks, I'm not sure. I think I forgot some of them, but that was like
that was the one that stood out.
Yeah.
And so it was a motion sensor toilet, and we literally to this day we still talk about that experience because that was like our first culture shock, and that was also probably one of the first things we told our parents when we got back. Like, listen, this thing was like such a. But it's funny because after that experience, then it becomes a norm because a lot of places in the US kind of had that motion sensor. Not every place, but quite a lot of them. Yeah. So now I want to talk about the separation. So we've had so we did have an orientation when we got there. That's fine. But I want to talk about now. We had orientation and now we're going. Remember, yes, we're besties. We traveled together to the States, but we're not staying with each other. We're not host sisters or anything like that. So what's the experience like of? Because I think when you're traveling in a group at first, it's easy because you're with people that are familiar to you. You're experiencing the same things and all of that. But now when they put you on a flight alone to go to your host families, what is that experience like? Did anything hit you in that moment? How did you feel? What was that like?
I was just like, oh shoot, I'm grown up. I mean, they at the airport, you aren't necessarily alone, but then you're not with the people that you're comfortable with. So in that sense, it just got me to grow up and become a tad bit more independent. So I felt like, okay, is this what independence feels like? I kind of like it. But just obviously the separation at first, I think it hit me when you actually took your bus, because she left to meet her family before me. So it hit me when I had to say goodbye to you on my last day.
Sure.
And I think I wrote you a letter or something. Yeah. I was crying writing that thing down. I'm like, this is for my bestie. I'm gonna miss you. Then I was just writing like some affirmations and motivation for her. So I was crying. Yeah. Then when I gave you, we sat there hugging each other, gripping on for dear life till she had to leave. So that's when like I felt that separation anxiety in that sense. Then as time went and as I was going about just getting onto my flight and all of that, just being on the flight, the excitement got to me, so I didn't really feel it that much. But that's pretty much how it was for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think it hits different when, I mean, you're still with other exchange students that are going to the same state as you, but you just met them like 2 or 3 days ago because they're not from the same country. Yeah. Yes, you guys have similar excitements. Maybe you guys are talking about what you know so far about your host families, but it's still very foreign. And I think that's when it starts to hit you that like, oh shoot, I'm in a foreign country. You're still excited, but it hits you that like, I'm on my own now, you know. So now my question to you is, you get to your host family's place or you meet them at the airport. I think the airport is the cute meeting part where it's like, oh my gosh, so good to meet you, whatever happens. And then you get home and now it's awkward. You're like in this awkward limbo of like, do I move left? Do I squeeze my right butt cheek? Like, which way do I go? You know what I mean? So, yeah, like, what was that like when you first got in the house? Yes, you've spoken to these people before, maybe via email or whatever, but when you first in the house and now, like, the hugs and everything are out of the way and it's like reality.
Well, firstly, I didn't know what to call them, to be completely honest. Also because of like, just us as our culture, you can't really address an adult by their name. Yeah. So that's the one thing that I struggled with, because my host parents would say, no, you can call me Brian, Maria. And I'm like, that's foreign to me. But so for like, I think a few days, I would go about by not calling anybody by their names because I didn't know what to say. So I would legit stay.
You'd wait for them to look at you and they'd be like, oh, by the way.
Exactly. So that's what I do. But then after a while, as I got comfortable with them, eventually I just started calling them mom and dad.
Yeah.
So then from then on, they're legit my mom and dad like right now. So yeah, after like the honeymoon phase passes, where it's all happy and jolly and everybody's trying to get to know each other, that's when reality sets in. Like it actually sets in when you start going to school.
Yeah.
Because maybe like your first day, it depends. Maybe some exchange kids, they still have time before their school opens. So for me, I had like, I think a week. So we traveled and all of that, and we went on hikes and all that. So I was able to adjust myself with being in the US, you know, just get over the sightseeing and everything. Everything set in once school started. Because when school starts, you actually see, okay, I'm a newbie.
Yeah.
I have a different accent.
Ooh.
And also, remember, kids in the States, they used to having exchange kids, and they know that you're bound to leave. So you actually have to make yourself stand out.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that hit me, and I think maybe it hits every other exchange student. Yes, it's scary to go to a new school, but in this case, a new school, new country. I speak differently from everybody else.
Yeah.
And they know that I'm going to leave soon. So how do I make a long-lasting relationship with these people here? So that's the one thing that stressed me. But, you know, being yourself and just trying new things, new activities, and just being there helped me to actually gain my footing and actually understand the people that I'm around and make friends.
Yeah,
much.
definitely. Wow. Yeah, I definitely think reality sets in when you get to school. And it's cute at first because maybe you meet somebody I met people from church, and then I met people, like, you know, my host mom tried to introduce me to people so that when I got to school, I wouldn't be completely, like, not know anyone.
Okay.
Also, my host brother was my exact same age, so that also makes a difference. But yeah, you get to school and you're the newbie. Remember, we come from a background where everybody in school knew us. Like, we were not the it girl in the sense of being the hot girls, but we were well known because we were always, you know, academics, whatever, and so people kind of knew that, oh, this is Gemi, this is Kumar. But now you're in a place where it's like nobody knows you. You have to figure it out, make friends for yourself. What were some of your challenges of making friends, and how did you overcome that?
Well, firstly, remembering their names. That's the first thing. I swear, okay, so the first week, I kind of made friends with these 3 girls. Yeah, then I forgot their names, sorry. But yeah, I forgot their names and never saw them again. The second week.
Also, how big was your school? Like, if you have to estimate, like 5,000 or
5,000? I don't know. It was huge though.
Yeah.
It was big. I think we had like 2-3 rugby fields, and then there was swimming courts the other side. It was quite a big place. So, yeah. But yeah, it was that big that you'd see a new person every day. That type of thing.
Yeah.
Then making friends, it was a challenge because, okay, in class nobody necessarily spoke to you. You'd actually have to make the effort. So yes, they hear you, oh, she has a different accent, oh, how cute. Then they move on with their lives, pretty much. So I kind of made friends with another new girl at school. That was easier for me. And then also, I think most exchange students, we made friends with other exchange students that we found at school. So that was easier. So I did make a friend with another exchange student. But then as time went by, I made more friends in my classes, and it was okay. I guess for me, I'm a bubbly person, so I talk, as you can see now. But it is I talk, and so it wasn't that hard to make friends. I guess the hard thing is just making people that will stick with you.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah. In ending, what's one thing that you would advise somebody who's interested in going on exchange? Like, what's one thing that you would tell them?